In my previous videos, you've probably heard me talk about the Anoite, and how their name comes from the French word uncanny. But what exactly are they? For that, we have to go 20 years back from the original Descendants movie. Back then, the Isle of the Lost was just a regular island. But regular people were not allowed to go there. This is because the Isle of the Lost was originally an experimentation site. Well, you see, way back in the day, there was a great wizard named Ashtaroth, who, using his powers, created animals via cruel experiments and magical enchantments, the descendants of which joined Auradon, except for Prince John. He was sent to the Isle. But we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. We're here to talk about the Anoite, which resemble the Beastmen from Twisted Wonderland, except they have this uncanny valley vibe to them. In fact, most of Auradon consider them to be cryptids. But what's the origin of them? And how does this tie into Auradon's original idea for the Isle of the Lost being an experimentation site? Their original plan was to round up animals that they deemed villains. This could be anything from the pack of wolves we see in Beauty and the Beast to just about any alligator in any Disney movie. Both alligators and crocodiles are subject to this as well. They would round up these villainous animals and harshly experiment on them, trying to improve upon and create a whole new spell strictly from Ashtaroth's notes. They would even resurrect dead animal villains in order for this. It was kept a secret for many, many years until a Auradon scientist who was butthurt about being fired from this experiment for insert any idea you might have, blew the whistle. To avoid a public outcry against the cruel nature of these experiments, Auradon shut down the experimentation site and created the Isle of the Lost to cover it all up. Of course, claiming that this was all to protect Auradon from villains. And they spent millions on a hardcore campaign of propaganda that made the Anoite seem like cryptids. In order to push the idea that the Anoites never even existed, they invested in a lot of propaganda to push the idea that magic was out of touch of reality. Of course, the Anoites existed, and when they started bringing villains onto the Isle of the Lost, they hid, creating an underground kingdom where nobody could find them. However, the early residents of the Isle do tell tales of the Anoite. Eerie, creepy cryptids that sneak up through the night. They are the reason why the main population of the Isle is all concentrated in a big town square-like situation, because they're all terrified to step into the forest at night. What made the Anoite seem truly unbelievable was, according to the members of the Isle of the Lost, the Anoite were able to use magic even on the Isle. This, of course, was kept hidden from Auradon. However, the kingdom of Morbia joined the Anoite in their underground kingdom, along with the bulk of the forced pirates put on the Isle, creating the kingdom of Mubia, a underground city lost to the rest of the Isle and lost to Auradon.